everyone. I am Vishakha Birhade, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics from the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. The main aim of this module is to make you understand the law of returns to scale. In the last module, we have already seen the law of variable proportions, where one input is variable and all the other inputs are fixed, and it is a short-run situation. Now, in this module, we shall see the law of returns to scale, where all the factors are variable. The law of returns to scale describes the relationship between the outputs and the scale of inputs in the long run when all the inputs are increased in the same proportion. According to Roger Miller, the law of returns to scale refers to the relationship between changes in output and proportionate changes in all factors of production. To meet a long-run change in the demand, the firm increases its scale of production by using more space, more machines, and more laborers in the factory. Let us now see the assumptions of the law of returns to scale. Number 1, all factors, that is, all the inputs are variable but enterprise is fixed. Second, a worker works with given tools and implements. Third, technological changes are absent. Fourth, there is perfect competition. And lastly, the product is measured in quantities. Given these assumptions, when all the inputs are increased in unchanged proportions, that is, when all the inputs are increased in the same proportion and the scale of production is expanded, the effect on the output shows 3 different stages. Firstly, the returns to scale increase because the increase in the total output is more than proportional to the increase in all inputs. Secondly, returns to scale become constant as the increase in the total output is in exact proportion to the increase in the inputs. And lastly, the returns to scale start diminishing because the increase in the output is less than proportionate to the increase in the inputs. The law of returns to scale can be explained with the help of the table, where it is seen that with the scale of production of 1 worker and 2 acres of land, the total output is 8. To increase the output, when the scale of production is doubled, total returns are more than doubled, that is, they become 17. Now, if the scale of production is trebled to 3 workers and 6 acres of land, returns become more than threefold, that is 27. Hence, it shows increasing returns to scale. If the scale of production is increased further, total returns will increase in such a way that the marginal returns will become constant. In the case of 4th and 5th units of scale of production, marginal returns are 11, which indicates that the returns to scale are constant. The increase in the scale of production beyond this will lead to diminishing returns. In the case of 6th, 7th and 8th unit, the total returns increase at a lower rate than before, and the marginal returns start diminishing successively to 10, 9 and 8. Let us now see the diagrammatic explanation of the law. In the figure, x-axis represents the scale of production, whereas the y-axis represents marginal returns. RS is the returns to scale curve, where from R to C the returns are increasing, from C to D the returns are constant, and from D onwards the returns start diminishing. Now, a question comes to our mind that why the returns of scale first increase, then become constant and finally start diminishing. Therefore, we shall now see the reasons behind these different stages. Let us take up the stage 1, that is increasing returns to scale. The reasons behind the increasing returns to scale are many. Let us start. The first reason is indivisibility of the factors of production. When a business unit expands, the returns to scale increase because the indivisible factors are employed to their maximum capacity. Reason 2. Specialization and division of labor. Work can be divided into small tasks and workers can be concentrated to narrower range of processes. As the efficiency will increase, surely the returns will also increase. The third reason is internal economies. The firm may be able to install better machines, sell its products more easily, borrow money cheaply, etc. And the last reason is external economies. When a large number of firms are concentrated at one place, skilled laborers and transport facilities are easily available. Subsidiary industries crop up to help the main industry. Research and training centers appear, which increases the productive capacity of the firms. Hence, all these factors contribute to the increasing returns to scale. This is shown in the figure from R to C. Now moving ahead, let us take the second stage, that is the constant returns to scale. As the firm is enlarged further, internal and external economies are counterbalanced by internal and external diseconomies. As a result, returns increase in the same proportion so that there are constant returns. This is shown in the figure from C to D. It means that increments of each input are constant at all levels of output. Further, when the factors of production are perfectly divisible, substitutable and homogeneous with perfectly elastic supply at given prices, returns to scale are constant. Proceeding further, let us take the third and the final stage, that is the diminishing returns to scale. Indivisible factors may become inefficient and less productive. Business may become unmanageable and produce problems of supervision and coordination. Large management creates difficulties of control and rigidities. To these internal diseconomies are added the external diseconomies of scale. As the industry continues to expand, the demand for skilled labor, land, capital, etc. also increases. There being perfect competition, intensive bidding raises wages, rent and interest. Further, the prices of the raw material go up as well as transport and marketing difficulties emerge. In this way, the firm observes diminishing returns to scale. This is indicated in the figure from D onwards. Hence, it is said constant returns to scale is just a passing phase, for ultimately returns to scale start diminishing. With this, we conclude with the video. I hope you have understood the law of returns to scale. Thank you for watching.